Good morning, guys. Mr. Parisi here. Today we're going to be talking about gas mileage and your EPA rating that's given to you on your car. Our goal is we want to be able to calculate the miles per gallon, total distance, and compare ranges for highway and city driving based off of our ETA, or that should be EPA, ratings. So, number of miles traveled and computing the range of a car. The farther a driver can go on a unit of gasoline, the better. That just means your gas mileage is better. One measure of how well a car operates is the miles per gallon. That's going to be our units when we're talking about gas mileage. This figure is called your gas mileage. So an example, Alex travels 114 miles in his SUV on 15 gallons of gas. What is this gas mileage? So we want to know, gas mileage is always based on how far you can go on 1 gallon of gas. So we're going from 15 gallons down to 1 gallon. We're going to take our 114 and we are going to divide it by the 15 gallons it took us. So we traveled 114 miles on 15 gallons. So that's going to give us a gas mileage of 7.6 miles per gallon, or your MPG. So in this case, that's not a very good gas mileage. He's not getting very far. He's going to have to fill up his car quite a bit. So what types of vehicles get the best gas mileage? Easiest choices are going to be your hybrid. An example of that would be like a Prius. Okay. Another car that's going to get you, or another vehicle that's going to get you a lot of good gas mileage is your fully electric cars. Obviously, you're not even required to use any gas then. An example of this would be anything from Tesla. And then just in general, your smaller cars, your eco-friendly cars are going to get you better gas mileage in general. So the smaller the car, something like a Honda Civic is going to get you much better gas mileage than a Escalade or a Jeep Wrangler or something like that. So there you go. So what is an advantage of having a vehicle that gets good gas mileage? Well, it's quite simply you're not going to have to fill up your gas tank as much. It saves you money. So it saves you money. You don't need to fill up your tank as much. So now we got a few more examples. If Anthony's car gets 25 miles to the gallon and he has 5.5 gallons of gas left in his tank, how far can he drive? Now here it's telling you it's giving you your gas mileage, 25 miles to the gallon. So this is based off of 1 gallon, but he has 5.5 left. So we're kind of working in the opposite direction of that first example. So instead of dividing, we're going to multiply. So 25 miles to the gallon times my 5.5 gallons. This is going to get me the total distance I can travel, or Anthony can travel, on this much gas. And in this case, it's going to be 137.5 miles. Number 2, Veronica she drove 562 miles with 14 gallons of gas. So how many miles per gallon does her car get? Again, this one we're talking about what is my gas mileage. We're going from 14 gallons down to 1 gallon. We're getting smaller. So we are going to divide. We're going to take our 562, divide it by 14. And this gives us a gas mileage of 40.14 miles per gallon, or MPG. Now, remember to finish reading your question, because if you want full credit on a question like this, you have to answer, do you think this is good gas mileage? Oh, that was actually a misprint right there. It should be 40.14. Do you think this is good gas mileage? In this case, yes, this is very good. $40 miles to the gallon is great. If you get that on your car or SUV, you are doing just fine. Trevor's truck gets 16 miles to the gallon, so it's giving us our gas mileage. He has 10 gallons of gas left in his tank, and he has 145 miles to drive until he reaches home. Does he have enough gas to make it without stopping to refill? So we know he needs to get 145 miles to get home, but we need to find out how far he actually can go. So again, we're going to be using our 16 miles to the gallon and our 10 gallons here to start. So we'll take our 16 miles per gallon times my 10 gallons, okay? And we can get 160 miles. Again, we are not done. Finish answering your question. If he's got to go 145 miles to get home, can he make it? Yes, he can. He's going to make it, but barely. So yes, he can make it home without stopping for gas. And now we fully answered that question. On this page, you're going to take some time and try. These are just more examples, so why don't you take a minute or so, pause your video, try these on your own, and calculate your gas mileage or your total range or your distance you can travel, depending on what the question's asking for you. Once you're done, hit play and check your answers. So here's the answers for this page. Just make sure that your units are correct. Okay, so we're talking about miles per gallon when we're talking about our gas mileage, and over here we are talking about our miles traveled. So computing the range of a car, we've been doing this already, but there's these things called EPA ratings that we're going to talk about now. So how far a car can travel on a tank of gas. The Environmental Protection Agency, or the EPA, rates gas consumptions for all cars and vans, SUVs, trucks, everything. The EPA rating is given for stop and start city driving as well as for highway driving on the open road. To find the range of the car, multiply the miles per gallon rating by the capacity of the tank. So on a full tank of gas, this is how far your car can go. Where will you be better, or where will you get better gas mileage, on the highway or in the city? Please answer and support with an explanation. So, pretty simple. This one's going to be the highway. And it's just because you're not stopping and starting. In the city, you're always stopping and starting, whether it's at stoplights, stop signs, and it takes a little bit more energy. It uses more gasoline to constantly be stopping and starting your engine. So our example here is Sunlee's car has an EPA rating of 35 miles per gallon in the city. So that's our city. And then 40 miles to the gallon on the highway. Her tank holds 15 gallons. What is the range of her car? Look at the units and decide what operation to use. So with this one, since we have two different EPA ratings, we're going to be talking about the city on one side, and we're going to be talking about the highway on the other. Okay, so we have two separate calculations. Both of them are based off of that tank that holds 15 gallons. So for city, I'm going to take my 35 miles per gallon and multiply by my 15 gallons to get 525 miles. So that's how far I could go if I did all city driving on this tank of gas, getting 35 miles to the gallon. For the highway, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take our 40 miles per gallon that we get on the highway, multiply by that full tank of 15 gallons to get 600 miles. So, again, this is showing that we've got 600 miles our highway driving. We're going to get more mileage driving on the highway than we would in the city. Last but not least, that's all we're doing on this page. So this is going to be up to you guys to fill out. It's just going to be, hey, I'm taking my city, my 40 miles per gallon, times my 10-gallon tank here, and that's going to get me 400 miles. Likewise, I'm going to do the same for my highway. I'm going to take my 50 miles to the gallon I get on the highway times my 10-gallon tank to get 500 miles. You guys should finish this and calculate the rest of these ranges to finish your notes for the day. And once you're done, hit turn in to get full credit. Thank you guys. Have a great